Covenant family. I am here with Pastor Rod and First Lady Carol Rutledge, and we are on the brink of our Women Walking with God month of September 2019. And this is, what year is this?
This is the 9th year. We started 2011.
Wow, I was thinking 7. Wow.
Yeah.
Nine.
Mm.
9 years.
Yeah.
And we just want to ask you a few questions, both of you. And I think the first one would be, what does women walking with God mean to you? First,
When I first came up with the idea, it was inspired by being led by my spiritual leader, which is Minister Co-Pastor White, Terry White.
At True Love.
At True Love, yeah. And she used to make us get up and teach.
Mm.
And I found that in doing that, I learned more. And I wanted to bring the same thing to the women that I minister to.
Yeah.
Because in learning to teach, you learn a lot more than going to church and just listening.
Mm.
And it also gives you an opportunity to get more comfortable speaking to others. So my thing was, how can I minister to someone when I'm afraid to speak in public? So I said, man, this is a good opportunity. Wednesday Bible study, Sunday church service, which is a more formal setting, to get our women at New Covenant comfortable with just ministry. And when I presented it to Pastor Rod, he said, sounds like a good idea. I thought I was going to have to sell it to him, but he jumped on board.
Yeah. And having had 9 years of this now, Pastor Rod, what has it meant to you, or what does it mean to you, women walking with God? What's your perspective?
Well, it's a collaboration of several different women, because what Carol has done is brought different women from different churches. Yeah. Which is, to me, is really important in the body of Christ. So she's brought women from different churches, from different denominations, and brought them together to minister and to worship together, to fellowship. And so to me, it is the actual women, and that includes all kinds of women. Actually, she's had one of my co-workers' wife, who's a Caucasian lady, lead the exercise part.
Yeah.
So it hasn't just been black women involved. There's been white women as well. So it's been just what it says. It's been a group of women who love God, and they're coming together with their experiences with God, what God has taught them and what they want to learn, walking it out, teaching and walking with God in this, and believing that it'll impact other women around. And I just want to go back to one of the things that she said from the beginning about Pastor White. One of the things that when we started New Covenant was always letting other people teach, not just me, not just Pastor Dre, but having other people, what people call lay people, who I don't like to use the term, but just for lay people teach. And what it did from the very beginning was what she said was, it gives them an opportunity to really learn more, because you study more. And so we've been doing that the whole time. So when she brought the idea, I thought it was a great idea. It's in line with the core values of New Covenant. So, and that's why I think it's a great idea, and God gave her a great heart for it.
And he also gave you one because I believe that he prepared your heart to receive what it was that she already had.
And you know what? I trust her spiritual insight on things like that. And when she asked, I mean, hey, go for it. And that's usually what I say, go for it.
And along that same line, so you were inspired by Pastor White, Terry White, and what woman in the Bible inspires you most, Karen?
I know most people probably say Mary, and I don't know if it's a inspire, but it's intriguing. Delilah.
Delilah.
And I say that because it's intriguing that women can have that kind of influence
Wow.
to tell someone, I'm going to do this and it's going to take away your strength, and get them to tell her their weakness. And I think it just showed me how women can really influence more than they think.
We can.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We really can. And it's important that when we do have that influence that we use it properly.
Properly.
Right.
That's the whole thing. Because some people can get drunk on power and take things off, a whole nother direction. And I want to ask you the same question, Pastor Rod. What woman in the Bible inspires you or intrigues you?
I would hate to say Delilah again, but I'm sure she's probably heard me talk about Delilah and her influence on men. As a matter of fact, I'm always telling women, y'all could change the world, change guys how they function in dating, in marriage, because of the power that you have. Incredible power that you have. And as you said, when it's used properly, influence is what discipleship is.
Yes.
So if you disciple properly, it changes the world. So I always say is that God gave him a power to change the world because he knew that a lot of men would be weak. And so he would use, and I know he uses that word weaker vessel, but he was using it in the term of can be deceived, but he wasn't using it in the term of their power to influence, because women had, right from the beginning, Eve, right from the beginning had the power to influence. So women have incredible power to influence, and throughout the Bible, not just those two, but throughout the Bible, that's from Mordecai, just down the line, how he was influenced.
Yeah.
So I would say really Delilah as well, because of her power to disciple.
And so that going to the next question is, so what qualities would make a great leader? What qualities, when we're talking about women leading, so what quality could you couple with that power to make someone a great leader on God's team? What quality would you want to add that she had influence and she could get them to do what she wanted to do, but what quality can you couple with that would make someone an ideal leader on the Lord's side?
I did this personality thing with Minister Sharika Allen, and I was just talking to Pastor Rod about it today, how one of the things it was saying for my personality was I need to be more, more of a people's person. I can be standoffish.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, I see that.
So maybe
with
more
neighbors.
hospitable.
Have more compassion.
Okay.
Compassion. And I think along with organizational skills, being firm, I think you do have to be compassionate, because I can see something that needs to be done and I can just say, this needs to be done. Just do it. But no compassion is in it. And it's always sometimes not what you say, but how you say it to get people to do or to follow.
That's true.
And if you have a leader that's not compassionate, that's probably not going to be a good leader.
Because I heard someone say that you can have a steak and you can put the steak on the garbage can, the top, or on a nice china, same steak, and present it, and it will be received in different ways. So it's all about presentation and how you do that. And I do believe that. We also wanted to talk about if you could meet anyone, either in the Bible or just in ministry, male or female, who would be on your list to meet, either in the Bible or in ministry today?
You want to go first?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be easy for me. I would want to meet David.
David.
I
Yeah.
just all his ups and downs with his heart for God, everything that he went through from with his son to Saul. I mean, I would want to meet him and just have a conversation about his heart for God. Describe your heart of how you feel. I know, we can read different things about it, but I want to hear out of his mouth. Tell me your heart for God, and so it would definitely be David.
Be David. I can see that.
Now, this person's not in the Bible, and I don't even think, well, they're not in ministry per se, but I would love to meet Michelle Obama.
Well, she is in ministry.
Well, and I think she is a great leader. I've heard a lot of people say, if she ran for president, I think she'll be up there. She's influential.
Yeah.
I think she's, from reading some of her book and seeing how she raised her children, she's a disciplinary with compassion. And I think she was the one really behind making the president. I just see that.
Okay.
But I would love to meet her. Just throw some questions at her. Yeah.
That was one that I didn't know what you were going to say with Michelle Obama. I think that's a really good one. What is your favorite thing about being a woman? We're talking about women walking with God. So what makes you special in your walk with God?
I think, and that's part of what I try to portray in the women's ministry and even with women walking with God. Just be real. Just be yourself. I don't, some people like to minister like other people, and I never wanted to be that pastor's wife that wore the hats or just was, hallelujah, praise the Lord, blessed and highly favored, how are you, darling? That's not me. And I never wanted to be a pastor's wife, just know it anyway. But I never wanted to be fake. And even with starting the women's ministry, having everybody wear inspirational t-shirts with just comfortable bottoms, I wanted to be different. Not the T-hats, not the heels and dressy. I want people to get comfortable in being who you are, because God made us different. And you're going to minister to people on different levels. I can't minister to people on Pastor Rod's level. Right. And I've had people around that I really didn't think I was clicking with. And then before the evening was, said, girl, I really like talking to you, even Pastor from Maple Grove. And I think it's just being comfortable with who you are. If I slip up and say something that ain't religious or Christian, forgive me, but it just, I'm sorry, darling, but I just try to be me and be saved. Do what I feel like God has told me to do it the right way, and just be me.
I've heard you say in the past, Pastor Rod, that God takes who you are and He uses it for ministry. So is that what she's saying?
Absolutely. Is that He uses her personality, whether good or bad. And that's the awesome thing about God, was that He'll take who you are, just as you are, and use it. And a lot of times He may tweak some things about us, but He used just who. And I can say Carol is who she is. She don't try to put on no airs for anybody, which probably makes her more of a people person than she probably would accept it. You know what I'm saying? That she is. I mean, she talked to everybody, whether it's Walmart or at Von Mar. So I think she's probably more of a people person than she can see, maybe.
Well, this is a perfect lead into the next question, which is, are there any preconceived notions or assumptions about women that you would like to change? Women in ministry, or just women in general, that you would like to change? Like some people say, being that a woman is her weakness may be she's too emotional, or is there something about that people assume about women that you would like to change through this ministry, women walking with God?
I think just online with what you're saying, just being a leader. You know, people seem to think twice about a woman being a leader. You know, even with us talking about presidencies and stuff, you hear people always say, I don't think the United States is ready for a woman president. And people are the same way in churches. Sometimes when a woman ministers or is the head of the church, you'll get men basically who feel like that ministry is not as strong as if a man was the leader. And man, to change that perspective and let people see that women can lead. And I hate, you know, it's not real obvious in the Bible how Jesus spent time with the women. And I think people overlook that. But Jesus thought or knew that women were just as important as men. And I think we are emotional. And I don't think that's a bad thing. But I think sometimes we might need to temper it a little bit or taper it, but I don't think being emotional is a bad thing.
Well, you know what? I found something interesting today when I read about Jesus taking the three to the Mount of Transfiguration. And when he did that, he told them not to tell anyone what they saw until after the resurrection. And then what was interesting is that he presented himself to a woman to go and tell her to go and tell them, now you can open your mouth about what you've seen and done. So he still was intentional, I think, in using a woman to go and speak and using her in ministry to open it. It was just interesting to me. I'm like, well, he did that. He told them to be quiet until then.
The right
he used
time,
a woman to
right.
do it. And so I think that was something about that. And then my last question is, what do you believe will be the biggest challenge for the next generation of women in ministry behind you?
Ooh. Finding good men to support them.
Wow.
Yeah. Finding
Wow.
good, strong men that I got your back. Whatever you need me to do. And I think it's a society thing as well. It's like we've always said, we feel sorry for this generation and generation behind us to find a good man, especially a good Christian man. But to find a good man in the church where if a woman is a leader, they can support her 100%. That's a challenge that I think if we could overcome that, we can have awesome ministries. And that's why one of my main goals was when we did the luncheon, not to just have New Covenant women minister, but to all of us can get along. It's not our church, my church, our church do this, so we're better than, we got a big mega church. Ministry is ministry work. And if women can start it off just getting along regardless of what church you go to, that's why with stuff, New Covenant is presented, but when we had gifts, we never put a church name on it. It was just women walking with God. Because that's what God wants. All of us bring something to the table. We all can't go to the same church, but we all can believe that Jesus is the Son of God and he put us here for a reason of ministry. And so I think that is the most important.
So again, piggyback off of that, Pastor Rod, what do you think would be the challenge to the men in the generation of ministry that will come behind you?
Men taking their places and being men who follow God, who love God, and who do support women, support women ministry work. The challenge is, and especially I'm gonna reference just New Covenant men, is having men who have a heart to serve, period. I think we got a lot of generation of men who love to be served, but that's not Jesus's way. Jesus's way is to serve, and once I think men get that idea is that, hey man, God calls us to serve. You know, one of the things that have always been impressive to us is that when women have something at True Love, that their men always serve. And we have a hard time, and I hope our men at New Covenant get this, getting our men to serve. It's important. It's important to the ladies that men do serve. And it's important that we show that that's our role. To me, that's a way of leading our children as well, our boys. You know, that they're not there just to be served, but to serve the ladies, to serve their mothers, to serve their sisters, how important it is. And I think it would start creating a better balance throughout the church and throughout society if that men got it, that we are here to serve. Sure, you're a leader, but you're also a servant, because there's no such thing as a leader who don't serve. Because if you're a leader who ain't serving, who is not serving, then you're not much of a leader.
Wow.
And I think the thing is, everything starts at home, you know, and, you know, when you hear men say submissive, that's what they really are talking about, women serving them, women doing for them. You know, a woman's supposed to be submissive. Go get my plate, whatever. But in serving, like he said, you got to serve each other.
Serve each other.
And you can't expect men to serve at church if they're not serving their wives or sisters or daughters at home. You know, it's like a child who has a bad behavior and you expect them to go to the store or the movies and behave. It's not going to happen. So if it's not being done at home 1 or 2 days a week at church, you're not going to get it. So I think we got to train our men to just start serving at home, and it's going to easily come at church, because this is who I am. This is what I do. I'm not just doing it because I'm at church. I'm not just doing it because, you know, I want to look good, or, you know, this is the guest speaker. I want to make her feel welcome. This is who I am, and this is what I do. And once you start putting that in our men, wherever, Walmart, wherever they are, they're gonna serve.
So
Period.
So would our prayer, would a prayer be fruitful? One that would say, as a woman, not necessarily to find the man, but send him and let me see him. Because I you know, people say that about Noah, that some folks thought that Noah would have to go out there and get the animals, but God didn't say for him to go out there and get them. He said, when you do this, I will send them. And so maybe one of the things that we can do as women walking with God is, Lord, show me what I need to do. Let me do my part. Help me to be able to receive them, and then see them when they come, do what it is that I need to do when they come. And then also as a man, the same thing. Help me to prepare myself to receive what it is that you give to me, work on whatever I need to do. And then he said, and then at a certain time, he sent them. And then when they get there, then they serve each other.
That's right.
So maybe just in this month, we just look for more opportunities to work on our individual selves, and also to serve one another. And by serving one another, we serve God.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I'm just really, I'm excited about this month. I just wanted to I just thought that it would be a great idea in lieu of Bible study, since we're going to take a week off for Bible study, that we would just kind of interview you guys and just introduce next week that we are walking with God, with men and women, but this is primarily, we're going to focus on women, but we won't be walking alone.
That's right.
God is with us.
That's right.
And we look forward to seeing you guys.